Unexpected visitor. The day Zaxlor arrived at Greenwood University was like any other September morning. Students rushed across the campus, their backpacks heavy with books and their minds buzzing with the start of a new semester. But everything changed when a bright flash lit up the sky, followed by a loud boom that shook the ground. In the middle of the quad, a small spaceship appeared. It was shiny and smooth, looking nothing like the clunky rockets humans used. The ship's door opened with a soft hiss, and out stepped a creature that made everyone's jaws drop. Zaxlor was tall and thin, with skin that shimmered like the scales of a fish. His big round eyes blinked slowly as he looked around. 3 long fingers on each hand held onto a strange bag. He wore something that looked like a spacesuit, but it moved like water when he walked. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then someone shouted, "It's an alien!" And chaos broke out. Some students ran away screaming, while others pulled out their phones to take pictures. Security guards rushed over, not sure if they should protect the alien or protect people from the alien. Zaxlor didn't seem bothered by all the fuss. He calmly walked up to the nearest person, a girl with bright red hair named Sarah, and said in perfect English, "Greetings, Earth humans. I am Zaxlor, your new exchange student from the planet Zircon. Can you direct me to the dean's office?" Sarah's eyes were wide as saucers. You speak English?" she stammered. Zaxlor made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Of course. We've been studying your languages for years. How else would we understand your TV shows?" By now, a crowd had gathered around Zaxlor. People were whispering and pointing, but no one dared to get too close. Sarah, however, found her courage. "I can show you to the dean's office," she said. "Follow me." As they walked, students parted like the Red Sea. Zaxlor looked around with interest, his head turning in ways that seemed impossible for a human neck. "Your buildings are so boxy," he commented. "On Zircon, everything is round. It's more energy efficient." Sarah nodded, not sure what to say. She had a million questions but didn't know where to start. "So, why are you here?" she finally asked. "To learn, of course," Zaxlor replied. "The Galactic Council has a program for young beings to experience other cultures. I chose Earth because your music is quite popular in space. Have you heard of Beyonce?" Before Sarah could answer, they arrived at the dean's office. The secretary took one look at Zaxlor and fainted. Sarah knocked on the dean's door, her hand shaking. Dean Thompson opened the door and froze. His coffee mug slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. "What in the world?" he gasped. Zaxlor stepped forward, extending a hand like he'd seen in Earth movies. "Dean Thompson, I presume. I am your new exchange student. I believe all the paperwork was sent ahead." The dean blinked rapidly, then looked at his computer. Sure enough, there was an email from something called the Intergalactic Exchange Program, with attachments for a student named Zaxlor. I thought this was a joke," he mumbled. "I assure you, it is not," Zaxlor said. "Now, where will I be staying? I hope it's not too close to any large bodies of water. I'm allergic to salt." The next few hours were a blur of activity. News crews descended on the campus. Government officials arrived in black SUVs, and students crowded every window trying to get a glimpse of the alien. Through it all, Zaxlor remained calm, answering questions politely and asking a few of his own. By evening, things had settled down a bit. Zaxlor was given a room in the international student dorm, with a security detail posted outside. Sarah, who had stuck by his side all day, finally worked up the courage to ask more questions. "So, what's it like where you come from?" she asked as they sat in the dorm's common room. Other students hovered nearby, pretending not to listen. Zaxlor's eyes seemed to sparkle. "Oh, Zircon is beautiful. We have cities that float in the sky and oceans that glow at night. But I must admit, I find Earth fascinating. You humans have achieved so much in such a short time." Sarah beamed with pride, then frowned. "Wait, short time. How long have your people been around?" Zaxlor waved a hand dismissively. "Oh, a few million years. We're quite young compared to some races in the Galactic Council. A hush fell over the room. There's a Galactic Council, someone whispered. Zaxlor's eyes widened, realizing he might have said too much. Oh, yes. But I'm not really supposed to talk about that. Student exchange program rules, you know. But the damage was done. Students started peppering him with questions about space, aliens, and intergalactic politics. Zaxlor did his best to deflect, changing the subject to Earth customs. Tell me, he said, holding up a slice of pizza someone had ordered, is it true you eat this pizza for all 3 daily meals? The distraction worked, and soon everyone was laughing and teaching Zaxlor about Earth food. But Sarah noticed how quickly he had changed the subject. There was more to this alien exchange student than met the eye, and she was determined to find out what. As the night wore on, students drifted off to bed, still buzzing with excitement about their new alien classmate. Zaxlor retired to his room, politely declining offers to stay up and chat more. Once alone, Zaxlor pulled out a strange device from his bag. It glowed softly as he spoke into it in a language no human would understand. First day complete. The humans suspect nothing. Beginning phase 1 of the mission. The device beeped in response, and Zaxlor quickly hid it away. He looked out the window at the starry sky, his expression unreadable. Tomorrow would be his first day of classes, and the real work would begin. Little did the humans know, their world was about to change forever. Uncovering the truth. The first week of classes at Greenwood University was unlike any other. Students couldn't focus on their books because they were too busy staring at the alien in their midst. Zaxlor sat in the front row of every class, his shimmering skin catching the light as he took notes with his 3-fingered hands. Sarah found herself watching Zaxlor more than her professors. Something about him didn't add up. He knew too much about some things and too little about others. Once, in biology class, he corrected the teacher on the structure of DNA. But later, at lunch, he tried to eat a banana without peeling it. You're supposed to take the yellow part off first, Sarah said, trying not to laugh. Zaxlor looked embarrassed. Of course. I knew that. I was just testing you. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Right, just like you were testing us when you tried to drink from the fish tank yesterday. Zaxlor's cheeks turned a deeper shade of blue. Earth customs are very complex, he mumbled. As days passed, Sarah noticed other odd things. Zaxlor would sometimes stare at his strange bag, his lips moving as if he was talking to it. Late at night, she saw flashes of light coming from under his dorm room door. One evening, Sarah decided to investigate. She waited until Zaxlor left for a late-night snack run to the vending machines. Then, heart-pounding, she slipped into his room. The place looked normal at first. Textbooks on the desk, dirty laundry on the floor. But then Sarah saw it. A small glowing device hidden under the pillow. It looked like a cross between a smartphone and a crystal ball. With shaking hands, Sarah picked it up. The screen lit up, showing strange symbols she couldn't understand. But there were also pictures that made her gasp. Huge spaceships, bigger than cities, filled the screen. They'd bristled with what looked like weapons. Another image showed a map of the galaxy, with Earth marked in angry red. What are you doing? Sarah jumped. Zaxlor stood in the doorway, his eyes narrowed. The alien moved faster than she thought possible, snatching the device from her hands. I'm sorry, Sarah stammered. What is that thing? What are those ships? Zaxlor's face went through a range of emotions. Anger, fear, and finally, resignation. He sat heavily on the bed. I suppose it was only a matter of time before someone found out, he said softly. You humans are too curious for your own good. Sarah sat next to him, her heart still racing. Found out what? Zaxlor, what's really going on? The alien was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, what I'm about to tell you could get me in big trouble. It could get both of us in trouble. Are you sure you want to know? Sarah nodded without hesitation. Zaxlor took a deep breath. Everything I told you about being an exchange student is true, but it's not the whole truth. I'm also here on a secret mission. He held up the glowing device. This is a quantum communicator. It lets me talk to my superiors in the Galactic Council. The Council, they're not as peaceful as they pretend to be. Sarah's eyes widened. Those ships I saw. Yes, Zaxlor nodded. The Council has been building a massive war fleet in secret. They say it's for defense, but I've seen the plans. They'd want to conquer. And Earth. Earth is their next target. Sarah felt like she couldn't breathe. But why? We haven't done anything to them. Zaxlor's laugh was bitter. It's not about what you've done. It's about what you might do. Humans are young, but you're advancing. Quickly. Too quickly. The Council is scared of what you might become. So why are you telling me this? Sarah asked. Aren't you one of them? Zaxlor shook his head. I thought I was. I believed in the Council. But the more time I spend here, the more I see how wrong they are. Humans are creative, kind, passionate. Yes, you have your flaws, but you don't deserve to be conquered. Sarah's mind was reeling. Aliens were real. There was a Galactic Council, and they wanted to attack Earth. It was too much to take in. We have to tell someone, she said. The government, the UN, someone. And who would believe us? Zaxlor asked. They'd think it was a hoax, or worse, they'd panic. We need proof. Sarah pointed at the communicator. Isn't that proof? Zaxlor shook his head. Not enough. We need more. Internal documents, battle plans, something big. How do we get that? Zaxlor's eyes gleamed. I have an idea. But it's dangerous. If we're caught, we could be arrested. Or worse. Sarah took a deep breath. A week ago, her biggest worry was passing her calculus test. Now she was planning to steal alien secrets to save the world. But looking at Zaxlor, seeing the worry and hope in his big eyes, she knew she couldn't back down. I'm in, she said. What's the plan? Zaxlor smiled, a strange sight on his alien face. First, we need to build the subspace antenna. Do you know where we can get 50 pounds of copper wire and a microwave oven? For the next few days, Sarah and Zaxlor worked in secret. They snuck into the physics lab late at night, borrowing. Sarah refused to say stealing. Equipment. Zaxlor taught Sarah about alien technology, and she helped him understand more about Earth. Finally, their device was ready. It looked like a mess of wires and old computer parts, with the gutted microwave in the center. But when Zaxlor turned it on, it hummed with power. Now, he said, we hacked the Galactic Council's secure database. Sarah watched in awe as Zaxlor's fingers flew over the makeshift keyboard. Strange symbols flashed on the screen. Minutes felt like hours. Suddenly, the device beeped. We're in, Zaxlor whispered. Pages of information appeared, along with detailed schematics of the warships Sarah had seen before. It was all true. The Galactic Council was planning an invasion of Earth. We need to download all of this, Sarah said, her voice shaking. But before they could, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed on the device. They've detected us, Zaxlor said, his voice filled with panic. We need to go. Now. They grabbed what they could and ran. As they burst out of the lab, Sarah saw something that made her blood run cold. In the sky above the campus, a large, dark shape was appearing. It looked just like the warships in the pictures. The Galactic Council had arrived. And they didn't look happy. The shocking revelation. Sarah and Zaxlor ran through the dark campus, their hearts pounding. The alien warship loomed overhead, its massive shadow covering everything. Strange lights flashed from its sides, scanning the ground. What do we do? Sarah gasped as they hid behind a large oak tree. Zaxlor's skin was changing colors rapidly, a sign of his stress. We need to warn your leaders, he said. But how? They'll never believe us. Suddenly, Sarah had an idea. The news. If we can get this on TV, everyone will see it. They sprinted towards the communications building where the campus radio station was located. As they ran, more ships appeared in the sky. Students who had been out late started screaming and pointing. Sarah and Zaxlor burst into the radio station. The night EJ, a sleepy-looking guy named Mike, nearly fell out of his chair. "What the?" he started to say, but Sarah cut him off. "No time to explain. We need to broadcast something important." She grabbed the microphone while Zaxlor started hooking up their makeshift device to the station's equipment. You can't just," Mike began, but then he looked out the window and saw the ships. His jaw dropped. Sarah took a deep breath and started speaking into the mic. "Attention, everyone. This is not a drill or a joke. Earth is under threat from an alien force called the Galactic Council. They're planning to invade our planet." As she spoke, Zaxlor managed to get their device working. Suddenly, the radio station's small TV screen lit up with images of the alien warships and the secret plans they had stolen. Mike, now fully awake, started streaming the broadcast online. Within minutes, the story was spreading across the internet like wildfire. But the Galactic Council wasn't going to let this happen without a fight. The building shook as a beam of energy hit it. Windows shattered and equipment sparked. "We need to get out of here," Zaxlor shouted. They ran outside, only to find themselves surrounded by strange alien creatures. They looked like Zaxlor, but bigger and meaner. Each one held a weapon that glowed with energy. "Zaxlor of Zircon," one of them said in a deep, growling voice, "you are under arrest for treason against the Galactic Council. Come quietly or face destruction." Zaxlor stepped in front of Sarah protectively. "I won't let you hurt this planet," he shouted. Just as the situation seemed hopeless, the sound of helicopters filled the air. Earth's military had arrived. Jets zoomed overhead, engaging the alien ships in battle. In the confusion, Sarah, Zaxlor, and Mike managed to slip away. They ran towards the center of the campus where a crowd was gathering. "We need to tell everyone what's happening," Sarah said. They climbed onto a statue in the middle of the quad. Sarah cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, "Everyone, listen up." The crowd turned to look at them. Some people were crying. Others were taking videos with their phones. All of them looked scared and confused. Sarah took a deep breath and started explaining everything. She told them about Zaxlor's true mission, the Galactic Council's secret plans, and the danger Earth was in. As she spoke, Zaxlor used their device to project images into the air. People gasped as they saw the size of the alien fleet and the advanced weapons they had. "But why?" someone in the crowd shouted. "Why do they want to attack us?" Zaxlor stepped forward. "The Council fears you," he said, his voice carrying across the quad. "Humans have achieved in centuries what took other races millennia. Your potential scares them." The crowd murmured in surprise. Sarah continued, "But we're not going to let them win. We need to stand together and show the galaxy what humans can do." A cheer went up from the crowd. But their celebration was short-lived. With a deafening roar, a massive ship appeared in the sky above them. It was easily 10 times the size of the others. A voice boomed out, so loud it shook the ground. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Zix of the Galactic Council. Your planet is now under our control. Resistance is futile. Surrender now or face annihilation." For a moment, everything was quiet. Then, to Sarah's amazement, people in the crowd started booing. Someone threw a shoe at the ship. Others started chanting, "Earth, Earth, Earth." High Commander Zix's voice came again, sounding confused. What are you doing? You're supposed to be cowering in fear." Sarah grinned at Zaxlor. "They don't know humans very well, do they?" Zaxlor shook his head, looking amused. "Apparently not." Suddenly, the ground started shaking. At first, Sarah thought it was from the alien ships, but then she saw something that made her jaw drop. Rising from behind the science building was a giant robot. It looked like it was made from spare parts and old cars, but it was moving. At its controls was Dr. Patel, the robotics professor. "You want a piece of Earth?" Dr. Patel's voice boomed from the robot. "Come and get it." The robot swung its arm, smashing into one of the smaller alien ships. The crowd went wild. All around the campus, more surprising things were happening. The chemistry department had created a foam that could disable the aliens' energy weapons. The physics department had rigged up a force field around the main buildings. Even the art students were helping, using paint to create camouflage that confused the alien sensors. Sarah turned to Zaxlor, her eyes shining. "See, this is what humans do. We come together. We get creative. We fight back." Zaxlor nodded, looking impressed. "I've never seen anything like it. But Sarah, this is just one university. The Council has millions of ships. How can Earth possibly win?" Sarah grinned. "Just wait. If this is happening here, imagine what's going on at MIT or Caltech. We need to spread the word, get everyone working together." As if on cue, Mike ran up to them, out of breath. "Guys, the broadcast worked. It's all over the news. The whole world knows." On the big screen that usually showed football games, they could see images from around the globe. People everywhere were fighting back against the invasion in their own unique ways. In Japan, they had reprogrammed Gundams to battle the alien ships. In Brazil, they were using the power of music to disrupt the aliens' communication systems. In Kenya, they had trained elephants to stomp on the smaller alien craft that landed. Sarah felt a surge of pride. "See, Zaxlor, this is humanity. We're not going down without a fight." High Commander Zix's voice came again, but this time it sounded nervous. This is unprecedented. How are they doing this? All ships, regroup. We need a new strategy." The alien ships started to pull back, clearly confused by Earth's unexpected resistance. Sarah turned to the crowd. "This isn't over yet," she shouted. "But we've shown them what we can do. Now let's show the galaxy what happens when you mess with Earth." The crowd cheered, ready to face whatever came next. As the sun began to rise, casting a golden light over the campus, Sarah realized that this was just the beginning. The real battle for Earth was about to start. Humanity's response. The days following the alien invasion were unlike anything the world had ever seen. Countries that had been enemies for years now worked together. Scientists shared their secrets, and factories ran day and night to build new weapons. Sarah, Zaxlor, and Mike found themselves at the center of it all. They were flown to a secret base where world leaders had gathered to plan Earth's defense. As they walked into the huge underground room, Sarah's eyes went wide. She saw the President of the United States talking with the leader of China. The Prime Minister of India was drawing plans with scientists from Russia and Brazil. "I never thought I'd see this," Sarah whispered to Zaxlor. "The whole world is working together." Zaxlor nodded, looking impressed. "It's amazing. But will it be enough?" A tall woman in a military uniform approached them. "I'm General Chen," she said. "We need your help." "Zaxlor, what can you tell us about the Council's weaknesses?" Zaxlor thought for a moment. "Their technology is advanced, but it has flaws. Their ship's energy shields can't handle rapid temperature changes, and their weapons don't work well in Earth's atmosphere. It's thicker than what they're used to." The general nodded, taking notes. "Good. And what about their plans? Do they have a next move?" "They'll try to take control of your communication systems," Zaxlor said. "If they can stop you from talking to each other, it'll be easier to defeat you." "Not if we stop them first," said a voice behind them. It was Dr. Patel, the robotics professor who had built the giant robot. "I have an idea, but I'll need help from the best minds on the planet." Over the next few hours, Sarah watched in amazement as the world's greatest scientists and engineers worked together. They combined Earth technology with the alien knowledge Zaxlor provided. Dr. Patel and her team created tiny robots that could get inside the alien ships and mess up their computers. Computer experts from Silicon Valley made a new internet that the aliens couldn't hack, and farmers from around the world came up with a plan to protect Earth's food supply. But the biggest surprise came from an unexpected place. A group of teenagers who loved to play video games had an idea. "The alien ships are controlled by computers, right?" one of them asked. "What if we could get into those computers and control the ships ourselves?" The room went quiet. Then everyone started talking at once. It was crazy, but it just might work. For the next week, everyone worked harder than they ever had before. Sarah helped where she could, mostly by keeping people's spirits up when they got tired or frustrated. Zaxlor was amazed by it all. "I've never seen anything like this," he told Sarah. "On my world, everyone just follows orders. But here, everyone is coming up with ideas and working together. It's beautiful." Finally, the day came to put their plan into action. The Galactic Council had given Earth an ultimatum: surrender in 24 hours or be destroyed. The world leaders gathered one last time. The President of the United States stood up to speak. "People of Earth," she said, her voice broadcast to every corner of the planet. "Today, we face the greatest challenge in human history, but we face it together. Not as nations, not as races, but as one human family. Whatever happens, know that today we stand united." A cheer went up around the world. In every city, in every home, people held their breath and waited. High Commander Zix's voice boomed from the sky. "Your time is up, humans. What is your answer?" For a moment, there was silence. Then millions of voices spoke as one. "We fight." Instantly, the plan sprang into action. Dr. Patel's tiny robots, launched into space on recycled soda bottles, attached themselves to the alien ships. Computer experts began their attack, their fingers flying over keyboards as they fought to take control of the alien technology. In orbit, astronauts from a dozen countries worked together to turn the International Space Station into a battle platform. They fired special missiles that didn't explode, but instead covered the alien ships in a substance that messed up their sensors. On the ground, people did their part too. Mirrors were set up in deserts to reflect sunlight and confuse the alien scanners. Farmers used their crop dusting planes to spread a chemical that made Earth's atmosphere even thicker, making it harder for the alien weapons to work. And in a room filled with computers, the team of gamers began their most important match ever. On their screens, they could see the inside of the alien ships. Using skills they had learned from years of playing space battle games, they began to take control. At first, the aliens didn't know what was happening. Their ships started moving in strange ways, bumping into each other. Their weapons fired, but at empty space instead of Earth. High Commander Zix's voice came again, but this time it sounded panicked. "What's happening? How are they doing this? All ships, retreat. Retreat." But it was too late. The gamers had full control now. They made the alien ships dance in the sky, spelling out words. "Earth wins." Sarah and Zaxlor watched it all from a big screen in the command center. Tears of joy ran down Sarah's face. "We did it," she whispered. "We really did it." Zaxlor put a hand on her shoulder. "No, Sarah, you did it. Humans did it. I've never been so happy to be wrong about something in my life." As the alien ships flew away, defeated, cheers erupted around the world. People danced in the streets, hugged strangers, and cried tears of joy and relief. But even as they celebrated, Sarah knew this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Earth had proven itself to the galaxy. Now it was time to take their place among the stars. Turning the tables. A month had passed since Earth's victory over the Galactic Council's invasion. The planet was still buzzing with excitement and newfound unity. But for Sarah, Zaxlor, and their friends, the work was far from over. They sat in a large conference room at the United Nations building in New York. Leaders from every country on Earth were there, along with top scientists, military officers, and even some of the gamers who had helped save the world. "We've won the battle," said the Secretary General of the UN. "But now we need to win the peace. Zaxlor, what can we expect from the Galactic Council now?" Zaxlor stood up, his shimmering skin reflecting the lights of the room. "The Council is in chaos. Many members are questioning its leadership. This is our chance to change things, not just for Earth, but for the whole galaxy." Sarah nodded. "We need to show them we're not a threat, but we're not pushovers either. We want peace, but we'll defend ourselves if we have to." The room buzzed with conversation. Then, Dr. Patil spoke up. "I have an idea. What if we use the technology we developed to defend Earth, to explore space instead?" Everyone leaned in, interested. Dr. Patil continued. "We could turn our defense satellites into a galaxy-wide communication network. Show the Council we want to talk, not fight. And we could use the spaceship control technology the gamers developed to send out peaceful exploration missions," added Mike, who had become a key part of the team. The President of the United States stood up. "I like it, but we need to do more. We need to show the galaxy what humans are really like." And so, Operation Galactic Handshake was born. Over the next few months, Earth prepared to introduce itself to the galaxy properly. They loaded spaceships with art, music, and books from every culture on Earth. They prepared messages of peace in every language, including some alien ones Zaxlor helped them learn. And they got ready to show the galaxy humanity's greatest strength, its diversity. Finally, the day came to launch the mission. Sarah, Zaxlor, and a crew of humans from all over the world boarded a ship that Earth scientists had built using a mix of human innovation and alien technology. As they prepared for takeoff, Sarah looked out the window at the crowd gathered to see them off. She saw people of every color and nationality, all cheering together. She saw the gamers who had helped save the world, now training a new generation of space explorers. And she saw Dr. Patil waving from beside her latest invention, a robot designed to make first contact with new alien species. "Ready?" Zaxlor asked, sitting down next to her. Sarah nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. "Ready as I'll ever be to meet a whole galaxy." Their ship took off, soaring past the moon and out into deep space. Thanks to the alien technology they'd learned to use, they reached the edge of the solar system in just a few hours. There they found a surprise waiting for them. A huge spaceship sat just beyond Pluto. But instead of attacking, it sent them a message. "Greetings, humans," came a voice Sarah recognized as High Commander Zix. We wish to talk." Sarah and Zaxlor looked at each other in surprise. This wasn't part of the plan, but it might be even better. They docked with the alien ship and went aboard. In a large room, they found High Commander Zix and representatives from many alien races. Some looked like Zaxlor, others were completely different. One even looked like a talking cloud of gas. "Humans," said Zix, looking uncomfortable. "We owe you an apology. We judged you too quickly, and we were wrong." Sarah stepped forward. "We accept your apology. We're not here for revenge. We're here to join the galactic community, if you'll have us." Zix looked relieved. "We would be honored. But how can you forgive us so easily?" Sarah smiled. "That's another human trait. We believe in second chances. We've fought each other for centuries, but we've learned that peace is always better than war. We want to bring that lesson to the stars." She held out her hand. After a moment of confusion, Zix reached out and shook it. From that day on, everything changed. Earth became a member of a new galactic alliance, with Zaxlor as its first ambassador. Humans shared their art, their music, and their ideas with alien races, and learned amazing things in return. Earth's technology advanced rapidly. Soon, humans were zipping across the galaxy in ships powered by starlight. They made friends with creatures they could never have imagined, and helped bring peace to worlds torn by ancient conflicts. But they never forgot the lessons they'd learned. Every ship that left Earth carried a simple message: we come in peace, with open minds and open hearts. Years later, Sarah stood on a balcony on a distant world, watching 3 suns set in a purple sky. Zaxlor joined her, along with their daughter, a child of 2 worlds, with her mother's curious eyes and her father's shimmering skin. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Zaxlor asked. Sarah shook her head, smiling. "Never. But that's the best part about being human. We can always imagine a better future, and then we work to make it real." As stars began to twinkle in the alien sky, Sarah thought about how far they'd come. From a single university campus to the far reaches of the galaxy, Earth had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. The galaxy had tried to conquer Earth, but instead, Earth had conquered the galaxy, not with weapons, but with courage, creativity, and kindness. And that, Sarah realized, was the greatest victory of all.